Hey everybody, Jason and Grace Hodge here, and we are just doing this impromptu hangout, and it's unplanned, but we wanted to talk about the launch or the coming launch of our new blog. Now, it is not together yet; it's still in the building phase. If you pop over to jasonandgrace.com, you'll see it, and so we're just putting things together.
That's right.
This is my beautiful wife, Grace here.
Hi, everybody.
My partner, not in crime, but in life. So anyway, well, we wanted to officially say that yes, we are doing this blog together, jasonandgrace.com, and we wanted to invite you over to it. And the blog, we were sitting down talking one day, one evening actually, and just talking about, what do we want this blog to do? Who do we want to speak to? And the tagline on there is, was it authentically living on purpose, or living your authentic purpose, unapologetically living your authentic purpose?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And all those words, they take into consideration things that we really believe in life, and that if you don't do, you will spend a life of frustration. I mean, so many people that we run into that we know, a lot of them who we personally know, are friends with and all of that, they have lives that on the outside look successful, but on the inside, not so much, because they are making a lot of money, but they're not making money living their passion. They're making money doing their job. They're making money in their careers, in the things that they kind of pigeonhole their lives into, and there's no real joy in that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, true.
Seriously, no joy in it. So
no joy, but you also have to look at, honey, that sometimes people don't have a choice.
Well, no, actually,
they do have a choice, but they choose not to take on the opportunities that are presented to themselves.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, we fall into that too, right. and have fallen into that.
Right.
Don't realize just how easy the choice can be. Now, it doesn't mean that the road on that choice is going to be easy, because a lot of times it's unpaved road. Right. It's a lot of unpaved road, and you find mentors. You find mentors in person, in books. You glean things from folks who have arrived at where you would like to arrive. And it may be just a principle around where you want to arrive, but you glean from them and say, okay, so what is it that they did? What type of systems did they put in place in order to get to where it is that they wanted to be?
Right.
And how does that apply to our lives? So we wanted to put together a blog that spoke to that. It spoke to family. What do you do as a family together? How do you work together as a family, make it work, and still stay in love with each other, stay in love with your kids, your relatives, and all of the people around you as you unfold your life on this new uncharted path.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think also you were talking about the choices that we make.
Mm-hmm.
I think at times also fear is really a big factor,
mm-hmm.
in why as people we choose the things we choose to do.
Right.
For instance, working a job,
mm-hmm.
For some people, being on a job is not necessarily like it's gratifying, but to them it's like it's a secure thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to think of, okay, where am I gonna, it's secure. Although being secure means you have no time with your family, you are overworked, you are underpaid, you're not appreciated, you have no say in your schedule.
Right.
You're given whatever, and it's like you either do it or check out.
Right. And talking about security, or maybe the false sense of security, at any given time, you could have a situation arise on your job,
right.
And I know I've experienced that personally, when I just determined, okay, I'm unemployable from this point forward. That was back in the early 90s, where I was on a job and I was fired from the job. But the way that it went about, it was like a 3-year process, 3.5 years that they were working on getting me out of the job. And they couldn't figure out a way to do it legally. And so finally, at the point that I was fired, I was actually relieved to be out of the job. You know, the how it was posed is that, well, okay, you're being suspended pending investigation. And now during that time, I had the choice between, okay, do I go to the family reunion and see all of the relatives that I hadn't seen at that point for, it was like 13 years, or do I hang around, you know, in town, because my family reunion was in a different state. Do I hang around, you know, until the suspension was lifted, and then see if I still had a job or not? Well, you know, my thought was, I'm going to see my family. So if I don't have a job when I get back, oh well. If I do have one, let me see how I can get out of it, because it was that horrible. And so I was thinking, I said, you know, you really don't have security, because at any given moment, your supervisor, your manager, or whatever, they can decide that they are ready to get rid of you. And if you don't have something in place, if you don't know how to apply your skill set or to develop a skill set that can make you marketable in other arenas, you're kind of stuck. You know, so yeah, so I don't think that there is a such thing as job security, even though so many people, they tout that as, you know, especially if you're in an at-will state, you can get fired for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So they don't even have to manufacture anything against you. You're just, thank you, but no thank you. So,
but going back on that fear, a lot of people are driven by fear. Fear of the unknown. What if this thing doesn't work? And you know, as we've been listening to the media motivation code, the inner circle, and you know, we've been working with our belief system and our minds, that now I look at things different. You know, before it was that, you know, I had to take a lot of things into consideration. You know, I'd be like, okay, because I mean, coming from being a nurse for as many years as I've been, it's like so many things that I have to take into consideration, especially when I'm charge nurse, you know, because I run the whole floor of 20 plus people, you know, and I have to make sure that checks and balances, this person is taken care of. It's like so many things that I have in my head that I'm processing at the same time, that at times I bring that into my life. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So, okay, we're going to do this. You know, it's like I'm trying to make sure that everything is lining up. But in life, in our personal life, at times those things really don't apply, you know, to us, because, yeah, we want to make sure that, you know, things are adding up, but at times they don't add up. You know, and you just have to take that leap of faith and just say, you know what, I'm going in.
Seriously.
And that's where we are right now.
And think about this. You know, there's a lot of times that what ends up happening, and I think that more often than not, you get folks who, they haven't been given the opportunity to believe that the information that was placed in them, you know, their natural skill sets, their natural affinities, that it really has a value. And so then what ends up happening is that you find these highly creative people working in a cubicle somewhere. You know, I mean, I met so many talented people when I was at the phone company and at the other companies that I was at. I've been in, you know, well, you know, I've been in a lot of different industries over the years. And what was consistent is that I would run into folks who started out, perfect example, when I started at the phone company, I was in my late teens, right? And I ran into folks who were in their 50s and 60s who started at the same company when they were in their late teens. And they said, well, we're just going to keep this as, you know, a summer job. They just came in to work for a few months, so they thought, and then they were going to, head out onto their life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the pay was too much to just walk away from, but not really enough to do what it is they really wanted to do in life.
Right.
So then they would continually trade the dollars for the hours and all that. And I thought to myself, I don't want that to be my story. But again, I got sucked into it because the pay was really good. And then, when I would work the overtime, the double time, and then the extra hours, and, all of the holiday things and all of that, it was very attractive because those checks used to look fat. I mean, they were nice sized checks. And it's like, okay, well, I'm young. I've got these nice checks coming in. All I have to do is put more hours, into it,
Right.
and I pull out a bigger check.
Right.
Well, I didn't realize it at that time. You don't really tend to think about a lot of things, as a young adult if you haven't been kind of conditioned to think about those things. But I didn't realize that that was a treadmill that I could not get out of, because in order to get more money, I would have to work more hours.
Right.
I couldn't just create money out of thin air. At least I didn't think so.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before really the internet was really big.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until, what was it, 95, 96, I think, is when I jumped onto AOL and the You've Got Mail thing and all of that. And then I started, really playing around with that and saying, okay. And then AOL got on my nerves so bad that I started looking at different online strategies, online portals. I think Juno was there. Then that's when Alta Vista, I think, was like the search engine to be at. Well, anyway, so, we have like evolved over that time. Now we're on Google, YouTube, Facebook, everybody's tweeting and all of that. And now the platform is global. We're able to do a lot of things without having to be confined to our geography. And like we have friends all over the world now that we speak to, we hang out with, we Skype, we chat with on Facebook and Messenger, all sorts of things. And not only are they friends that we have in other countries, but they're also some business partners that we have in other countries. And now at this time, we have an opportunity to really do whatever it is that we want, whatever it is that our minds can contain. Right. We can do it using online. Kind of brings us back to the whole conversation of why we're starting this blog. For us, starting out in all of this, there wasn't a whole lot of folks out there who can show us how to get done what we ultimately wanted to do. We didn't know at the time, but ultimately we wanted our freedom. Right. And that doesn't mean that you can't work a 9-to-5 in freedom, but it means that you don't have to. I was just listening to Joel Comm. If you don't know who Joel Comm is, he's an author. I mean, he's like, does a lot of stuff online. And he was talking about when he sold his company and, millions of dollars later. And, he had taken time off because he was just like ready to not do anything. So it was like for about 6 months or so. And I thought, wow, now that is serious freedom to be able to take that kind of time off, right? Not have to do anything, still be able to sustain your life. He lives very simply also, which is really cool. And in the midst of that conversation, there was quite a few things that I gleaned. One of which is that, and then he also took a job at Barnes and Noble. I think he was getting like $7.50 per hour, which is kind of funny because he didn't need the job, but he just wanted to do something different. And so when you understand that the power of the platform online, it can position you to be able to choose whatever you want to do. That to me is the power of having a freedom-based lifestyle, understanding that all I have to do is take what's in here, combine it with what's here, push it out there to the right marketplace, make sure that it is of high value, and then have something to sell so that they can buy it. They're exchanging that energy for what it is that you're delivering to them. And then you're deriving an income, and it is not an income that is controlled by a boss or a company, an employer. it is something that you can create at the drop of a dime, as long as you have the right tools, the right format. Yeah. I don't know. That's a powerful thing. I think that it's an awesome realization.
Right.
You know. So tell me something. Okay, now my wife and I, we had talked about, this blog and just doing something, and we have just now recently moved on it to where we now have the Jason and Grace, jasonandgrace.com. Okay, so what was that like inside of your mind? And I don't know, what are you thinking about the whole thing? Yeah. I mean, like coming from the non-techie standpoint, it's like
part of me is scared because of the unknown.
Okay.
And at the same time, I'm excited, of what this means, of what it could mean.
Yeah.
It's mixed emotions, because like I said, I've been doing nursing for so long. I just know it like the back of my head. And yet now I'm going into this unknown world. But I'm open to learning.
Yeah. And funny enough, I am too, because I'm learning a lot of new stuff. And I think a lot of times it's easier when you haven't had such a background in certain things, because then you don't have to unlearn certain things in order to learn new systems and all of that. That tends to be where my sticking point is at times, is getting beyond the stuff that it's like, oh no, I know that already. And it's like, yeah, but there's certain processes, certain skill sets that you develop through the use of them.
Right.
It's more than just knowing them. It's like, yeah, but have you activated them? It's kind of like a person knowing how to do the jabs inside of a boxing ring, but they've never actually gotten in the boxing ring and taken the punches and, consistently worked at their jabs and all of that in order to keep those muscles strong. It's like, okay, the theory of it is great, but you've got to now apply these different things different ways in order to develop the strength in these different areas almost simultaneously.
Right.
Yeah,
so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. So going forward, what we're thinking of doing, and we've talked to some other couples, some other friends of ours, who are in business together, and we're talking about doing some hangouts where we talk about the dynamics.
Right.
Okay, the dynamics of working together as a family. How do you isolate what things which party does? How do you understand how to play to each other's strengths? How do you find out what each other's strengths are in order to capitalize off of those things, so that way you have as much of an effortless process as possible? Those, I mean, and that's going to be a discovery session that you kind of see us kind of move through as a couple. Now, fortunately, we're a very even couple. We really like each other and we love each other, so that's a good thing. Like, I don't know, but no comments.
This is my 3.5 hours of sleep.
I know.
So anyway.
Yeah, you're doing actually very good. I thought your eyes would be all bloodshot and red, just
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I can't say that. I mean, I'm sure my mindset is going to be challenged.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm finding that as I'm listening to the inner circle, all the calls that we get to participate in, I feel like every day my belief system is shifting, because I'm removing the old stuff, but the wonderful thing is that I'm replacing with the new stuff.
Right.
So that's really been wonderful. I mean, those calls are great.
They are, aren't they?
And it seems like they happen, like the speakers that come on, it's like as if they knew that, okay, today,
Mhm.
Grace just needed this today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or this was going on at work, but
Mhm.
let me help you manage it somehow. I mean,
Mhm.
they've been phenomenal.
Well, it's like that African proverb, when the student is ready, the teacher will
Yeah,
appear.
yeah.
And yeah, I've been finding that, calls that, like, okay, like on our midday
Mm-hmm.
motivation calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I've been going through, just kind of getting those things ready for the dream team and what we're going to do with that content, I've been hearing some things that it's like, okay, I know I was on that call, but why didn't I hear it like this while I was on the call back then? And it's an amazing thing what happens when your internal stuff shifts,
Mm-hmm.
the things that you do pick up on and hear,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is just amazing. I mean, I'm getting so much out of it. It feels like it is food that I'm physically eating
And
as I'm sitting and
also,
listening to it.
Han, sometimes you can listen to something,
Mhm.
but because you're not ready to receive it,
Right.
it's like you have a block.
Mhm.
You can take some aspects of it, almost like you're picking and choosing. Okay, I'll take that.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't want that
Right.
because that really just shoots my ego, or it just, it hits me right in the heart. I'm not ready to receive that.
Mhm.
So you kind of like, take it and put it in a box.
Mhm.
But at the point that you go back and listen to the call again, you're like, oh my goodness, where was I?
Mhm.
This is like as if I've never heard it before. You had the information before,
Yeah. Yeah.
but at that time you are ready, and then it even goes deeper,
Mhm.
and you're able to receive it and really get more. You get what you intended to get out of it in the first place.
Mhm.
Had you not, and of course I'm speaking to myself,
Yeah, you're
but
speaking to me too.
you
That's.
find that when it's like, even like, I've seen people where we say, man, I watched that movie, I don't remember all these things,
Mhm.
because we have so many distractions. And
Mhm.
so, yeah.
That's right. Well, so what we're doing is we are inviting you to participate in the build out of our blog,
Yes.
and to come along for the ride as we build our lives out too. We're actually making a lot of shifts, not only in business, we're shifting a lot of things in our lives
Mm-hmm.
because we realize, we don't want to be that family that looks back 20 years from now when the kids are grown and we say, wow, we really missed a lot of opportunities because we're
Right.
just working so hard, and for me and, my wife as well, we tend to be very work oriented in a sense. Like, as you may have seen some of the earlier videos, I'm West Indian, and so we do tend to kind of like hammer away at the work. And for those of you who know us and all of that, you probably see me online at very weird hours. You're like, when in the world does Jason get sleep? And so I kind of catnap throughout the day. It's just a habit and so I am breaking that in order to just have, some, I don't want to say normal things because I am a normal, I am. So I'm not going to try and fit into the normal category. That's just not doable. That's not me. But uh, I am shifting around my mindset around what things drive me,
Mm-hmm.
I have been so accustomed to when I see extra minutes in the day, it's like, oh, let me fill that with something instead of just actually being in the moment and saying, you know what? I just want to enjoy. I just want to enjoy the time. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to hang here. Fortunately, my wife and kids, they are awesome. So when I do get to spend time with them, when I make that time, it's like, wow, this is just amazing. You'll see me post pictures of the kids playing and they're like, Daddy, will you come outside with me and play? And so I was like, okay, I'm in the dirt with them. It's like, okay, yeah, take the time now to do that. So I don't know if that's your situation or not. If you're a parent who really wants to be able to take that time with their kids, with their family, to create memories and all of that. If you are, I do encourage you to follow our blog, okay? I encourage you to, plug in if you are ready to make the move now, and you don't have a whole bunch of questions that you absolutely need answered before you take action on your life, then definitely go over to our blog and click one of the links that you see because it'll have stuff in there. It'll have a way for you to connect with us. It'll have a way for you to get involved with the business that we're in, and we would love to have you. If you're not at that point where you're ready for that now, that's okay too. And if you just want to have some encouragement for your life, look, we don't have all the answers, but what we do have is a desire to deliver the best value. And so what things that we're checking out, what things are working for us, what things didn't work for us, because that's important too. It's like, don't go down that road, there's a pitfall over there. And you may have, legs like a gazelle where you can leap over those pitfalls. I don't know. But if you want like our input, we've been, almost married for almost 10 years now, which is great. Yeah.
Next year is
I know. That's our 10 years. And, I think we've done a pretty good job inside of our marriage. Yeah. We really enjoy each other. It's really cool. So, I would just like to encourage you to hang out with us. We may even do some hangouts where it's like, okay, we just invite the public, hey, just pop on with us, and let's just dialogue. Let's talk about stuff. And then meanwhile, I'll also be putting in my input as far as a media planner on if you're looking for ways to grow your business or to take an idea, a concept that you have and to build that business around it. I'm very good at that. That is kind of like my backyard, my bailiwick. And I have participated in numerous mastermind calls and things like that, where that is what I do. I sit there and I help businesses break their stuff down and find the cash that's just hiding in plain sight. It's like, okay, well, you know what? You can monetize this. You can monetize this. You can put this in place to do that. If you want to know more about, okay, well, how do I get in front of my audience? How do I get, in front of the targeted audience? Yeah, I know that stuff too. So, just plug in. We've got something for you, I'm pretty sure, or we've got something for somebody that you know. But we just want you to enjoy the ride. We want to be able to serve you as best as possible.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. And thank you for taking this journey with us.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Again, we just hit play, we just hit record on this thing and said, we don't know what we're going to talk about. This is totally from the hip. It's not planned at all, but we just wanted to speak from our hearts and invite you along the journey of our life. All right. All right. Catch you later.
Bye.